Greetings. This is UAP, the Underrated Actual Physicist. His channel, this is JT. JTOLAN. He was on Globe Busters with me the last time I was on as a guest. The evidence that he provides is not at all nuts. It's nuts if you don't come to terms with it. And here it is. He's using infrared. And why infrared? Well, it's just beyond the visible spectrum. Now, why beyond the visible spectrum? Well, to see farther than you can with your own eyes in visible light, you can look beyond the visible spectrum in that range of wavelengths. He does infrared photography. It's just kind of a thing that he took on as a hobby, I guess, for his own curiosity with regard to this flat earth phenomenon. To do this, what he had to do is take off the infrared blocking filter that is internal to almost every camera you buy. Why they have those is it's supposed to help the clarity of the image in the visible spectrum, because that's normally what people use the cameras for. Now the zoom cameras or the astronomical cameras, some of them may have infrared filters fitted to them and everything, but you don't really get this effect unless you remove that internal infrared blocking filter. And so now you can see here he is using it. He's in Malibu, California, which is a beautiful place, by the way. This is JT, and he's showing you what you would see with your naked eye. But here, look at this. Just listen to his reaction as he's doing this.
Hello everyone, welcome to Malibu, California. You're about to see the world with new eyes. The veil of haze and fog will be lifted, and you will behold the flat earth like never before.
I love the sense of wonder that he gives. He's great.
Here we go. I'm in position and I'm pointing the way towards LA. And there you have it. That's LA with the San Gorgonio Mountains in the distance, over 100 miles away. Incredible. But wait. There is more. Look at that. That in the distance is the ghostly figure of Mount San Jacinto by Palm Springs, over 117 miles away. I'm panning to the right, and there is another mountain peak that's visible. There you go. That's the LAX control tower to the right. Just incredible. That peak is over 70 miles away. This is just incredible. Look at the difference infrared can make. It can reveal the unseen.
Look at the difference that Google Earth makes. It can hide the unseen, but what is now seen. So here he went back, he did some more imaging with a higher resolution. I think it's a different filter that he used. But wait, there's more. It gets better. Then he had the idea, which I think is a grand idea, especially the proof is in the pudding, where he went aboard a plane, probably for business, whatever. He got a seat near the exit seat, and the window's a little bit bigger there, I think, and he filmed from the plane, and this is what he got from that, and it is spectacular. So check this out.
So I just wanted to make that point just in case somebody had those kinds of questions. But here in this video clip, man, it's like, wow, this was my first video that I took with the 4K. There's so much more resolution. I have a previous HD infrared video that I want to post that I took with an HD camera that I modified myself, and we can talk about that because some folks are so excited they just want to run out and buy filters and put it on their P900s, but there's a little bit more to it. You have to remove the cutoff filter from in front of the sensor. But if I may, just real quick, it wasn't very clear in this video what I was saying, and I'm not great at doing videos. These were my first videos that I've done. The stratosphere, I thought everybody knows what that is, but in retrospect, I realized maybe people are thinking I'm talking about the stratosphere above, 70 miles altitude. No, I was talking about the Las Vegas Stratosphere Casino.
Okay.
That becomes apparent as you keep watching the video. But my thoughts kind of run faster than my brain or my mouth, I guess. I don't know how you say that. But yeah, I'm not great at doing videos. I apologize. I've been sitting on this stuff. And I've been writing a book. I have about 6 chapters. I was going to do a fair and balanced treatment of the flat Earth phenomena. I said, there's so much out there, so much weirdness. These people have something they're highlighting that should be, highlighted. And so I decided to do a fair and balanced book. And I quickly realized that there's so much to cover. I mean, from Antarctica to space, I said, wow, this is going to be quite a job. And I kind of lost interest when people got pissed at me. I couldn't talk to anybody because nobody engages. It seems like on the forums, people are too polarized and they're calling each other names. So I kind of just gave up until I got into infrared. And I thought, you know what? I should not be sitting on this proof. It's just too powerful. I should put this out there for folks to have a look at it because it's incredible. So that's what prompted me to get into making videos. I started feeling guilty that I'm sitting on this dynamite proof. There's a strong flat Earth phenomena, like I like to say. What are you saying, dude? Are you saying the Earth is flat? And I tell people, all I'm subscribing to publicly is there is a flat Earth phenomena. You cannot measure the curvature of the Earth accurately. And that's my hook for them. I say, go out there and measure the curvature of the Earth. And then come back and let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Remember Newport cigarettes? You've come a long way, baby. They were marketed towards women. Well, aerial photography has come a long way, baby. Since 1860, here's the earliest surviving photograph taken from an aerial balloon. And let's bring it up to 2018 to the most relevant aerial photography to date right here. Now you can see this is hundreds of miles. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but the mountains are hundreds of miles away, maybe 500 miles easily, one of them. And you can see lands beyond these mountains. And you have to realize that as it increases, as the distance increases beyond the identifiable landmarks, such as the mountains, that gap that spans from the horizon to the identifiable landmarks is an exponentially growing You're welcome. Okay. It's exponentially farther of a distance as you go up to that. See that level? It almost looks like, look at that. It just goes on and on and on. And who knows how far that goes. Now, it's at one point you wonder, are those just clouds? And probably, yeah, but underneath those clouds is land. And since he picked a great spot, the desert, it's arid enough. There aren't many clouds. And the amount of land that is visible in this shot is incredible, and it could be submitted for a world record. And the thing is, and I try to get this through to people, is that this shows you how much they lie. And by they, I mean the authorities, the government. You think that they don't have infrared. You think that the pilots that fly up at 50,000 feet, 60,000 feet and higher don't use infrared to see as far as they can. Of course they do. And they don't tell you. I mean, that those pilots have to know. They have to know that it doesn't take a genius, to just look at a globe. I mean, how far would you be able to see when you're as high as the thickness of a layer of paint on this classroom globe? At that altitude, do you think that you would be able to see across an entire state? You wouldn't think that you could. But they know that they can because they've seen it. And it looks flat. I mean, it just looks flat. Just from one more point is with the window, you have to remember whatever altitude you're at, you get above 8,000 feet, and the cabin pressure differential to the outside air is greater. And I think, I'm not certain about this, but I would think that may change the curve of the glass too. So if you're on the ground, it may be different from when you're at altitude with the bigger pressure differential.
Yes, good point. Yeah, I've thought about all those.
Now, you want to use the longer wavelengths than the visible light, which is the infrared, above 700 nanometers. If you go shorter, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, Rory G. Biv is how I learned it. And the violet is the deepest blues that you can see, and then you go beyond that, you go into the ultraviolet. And UVC is the shortest wavelength of ultraviolet light, or it's sometimes comedically referred to as ultraviolet light. But that's UVC. That's the germ-killing kind that is the least penetrating, but the most damaging to the certain microorganisms. But that's another story. I could go on about it, but I won't. So think of this. You take a flashlight and you hold it up to your ear. If you ever did this as a kid, the light goes through, but what's the light that goes through it? So the red light, that's the most penetrating light. Okay, so you have the infrared, and then you go to the longer wavelengths of the infrared, and you can see farther with it, or the light reveals things. It's not that you're shooting the infrared, it's the ambient infrared that's already there, but it works in two ways. It's reflected as light from the sun, but it's also produced as at the source from anything that produces heat or is radiating heat, which everything that is warmer than the ambient environment around it will show up and can be imaged as it's radiating heat. So that's how this can work in the night and the day. If you get into the calculation, 8 inches times the number of miles squared is the drop, the curvature drop, up to a certain point, okay? I don't know what the hell that is. But that brings me to another point here that that's probably just a droplet on the window, I think. I don't know. But there was something, an anomaly in this video that I don't think anybody noticed. And I don't want to distract from from what's happening here. So I'm going to show that in another video of mine. So just you know, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, and subscribe, of course, to JT's channel. It may be hard to find because when I type it in, it doesn't pop up. Thanks search engines. That's they're looking out for you, you know. Have you heard about this? They're making sure that the search results don't come up with what they determine to be falsifying and misleading subjects and news and things like that. So they're making sure that when you type in the exact word for word, letter for letter search term of something you're looking for, that it doesn't pop up, because they don't want you to be misled that the earth is flat. But you can see here with this photographic evidence, this is not NASA, you know that. You know that because it is not CGI, it is not painted. We didn't start this video by saying, imagine we're, you know, we don't start that way. We start with the evidence, the photographic evidence. Look. And so you can see that horizon. I mean, that is so far out. Do you realize the exponential scale of that? I mean, each millimeter on your screen or less that you go up represents a greater number of miles, and we're talking in the hundreds, just especially towards the end there. So I urge you to check these videos out. They're pretty long, but that's good because it's going to take some time to kind of soak in, I think. It's amazing. And like you saw in those comments, this might be the longest published distance photograph of all time, because you know, barring photos of the celestial bodies, which well, those could be, you know, for as much as 4,000 miles away. It's hard to say. There's a number that keeps coming up, but anyway, yeah, check it out for yourself. And I've gone on long enough. I mean, tell your mailman, tell your cousin, call up your cousin and say, hey cuz, the earth is flat, did you know that? Because you can use this and you can just show them. I mean, the proof's there. I mean, you compare this to NASA's crap, and there's no comparison. NASA's crap is just that. I mean, it's those CGI phony baloney images have run their course. They're done. It's done. It's over. It's all over. Oh, and I have a P1000 pre-ordered. It's coming, and I'm going to see about getting this filter taken out and doing some of this type of stuff myself. I don't have any flights planned soon, but I'd be excited to give this a try. But I think I can shoot across the Great Lakes, so I'm going to plan on doing that. I have a spot picked out and everything, so I'm going to check it out. So subscribe and see what comes next, and especially, you know, JT's channel. He's delivering these. These are fantastic. This was just published a few days ago. So, all right. I mean, look at that horizon. It's so far away. I don't think those are clouds. I think that's land because it's so straight across. It's so consistent. All right. Ciao.